academic and psychotherapist, and also the co-founder of Psychonnect, Diya Ganguly Mallick. Listen in.
Creating a universal platform for mental well-being diagnostics.
It's important now that people think good mental health is actually a lifestyle statement.
She is ensuring that mental health is an integral part of mainstream healthcare.
India must be the mental health and well-being hub as it is called at medical tourism today.
Music's India A-list proudly recognizes Diya Ganguly Mallick for excellence in community well-being.
Hello and welcome. You're watching NewsX India A-list. Joining us now is Diya Ganguly Mallick. She's a senior academic and a psychotherapist from the United Kingdom. She's also the co-founder of Psychonnect. Welcome to the show, Diya. Thanks for speaking to us.
Thank you, Gauri. In fact, thanks for having me here, and I wish you and the viewers of NewsX a very happy New Year.
Well, Diya, you're an academic, so why did you then decide to start this organization, a startup called Psychonnect? What do you envision to achieve through it beyond your career in academia?
Right. So being born and raised in India, I have been exposed to our traditional approaches like yoga, mindfulness, meditation for tackling mental health challenges. Then my education and subsequent experiences abroad, on the other hand, exposed me to more scientific and empirical approaches for tackling mental health challenges like CBT, which is cognitive behavior therapy, and solution-focused therapy. And then I realized I had the unique opportunity to actually merge these two approaches together, or rather create an ecosystem that will be a confluence of the traditional Eastern approaches and the scientific Western approaches. So that is the time I realized that I need to now step beyond my career in academia and do something for my country or my homeland, India.
Well, Diya, when you speak of these challenges in India and abroad, one thing ubiquitous everywhere is that it's still a stigma, especially in a country like India. It's definitely a stigma when you speak about mental health. So how can we break away from the stigma, and what is Psychonnect doing to combat the stigma at the very grassroots level?
I'm glad you raised this, Gauri, because this is a very serious issue, and not only in India and worldwide. There's a huge stigma attached to mental health. And the way we approach it in Psychonnect, we have a two-pronged approach to it. So the first is driven through our very own initiative, which is the ARC Charter, where we try to endeavor through the superficial layers of human interaction and engage in deeper conversation that talks about the various, I would say, facets of mental health awareness, recognition, and knowledge on the subject. And the second approach we have taken is to reinvent the context in which mental health is projected. You and I both know, whether it's in stories, in novels, or media, mental health is projected in quite a negative or a depressing way. So it's important now that people think good mental health is actually a lifestyle statement, just like yoga and being vegan is these days. Looking after your mental health deserves the same kind of attention. So that is the reason, we need to talk more about it, just like you and I are discussing today in media, whether it's a teacher in class or parents with their children or celebrities. We need to talk more about the subject. And just on your point on how Psychonnect is tackling this issue on the grassroots level, again, we are driving it through our no language barrier in mental health initiative, where we are developing multilingual contents speaking about the different concerns attached to mental health. We need to understand mental health is as important as physical health. So if you have, problem related to blood sugar levels or a migraine or severe headache, you immediately rush to a professional or you seek help from a doctor. But when you're finding it difficult to sleep at night because of anxiety, or when your room is spotlessly clean, but you still have the compulsive urge to go and clean, or your mind is racing, your emotional states are swinging like a pendulum, one time being happy, other time being absolutely sad, you know you need help, but do you really go and seek professional help? This is something that, we are asking our mental health champions in their own language to talk about it and disseminate this information that how important mental health is.
Well, yeah, in a year as difficult as 2020 has been, one thing which has happened for sure is that health and safety has taken the center stage and it's become a primary concern almost everywhere. Now, how do we ensure, Diya, that this doesn't just stop at physical health, but also includes mental health? Because it's been a difficult time, not just for physical health of people, but also for the mental health of people.
Right, Gauri. So, like I mentioned earlier, mental health is connected to physical health. You cannot look after your physical health without giving attention to your mental health. And it is also important to emphasize here that, when you talk about this lethal virus or this pandemic, it has not only impacted our physical human body, but its impact on our mind is also as much or as devastating as it has been on our physical body. In fact, at a much larger scale. And we'll be talking about this on our upcoming webinar broadcasted on your channel on the 16th of January, just to show how it's going to be impacting on different population, be it children or elderly, who stay as apart from their family. So it's fair to say that, Gauri, even though as professionals, it's important for us to keep this conversation alive and to make people realize that we cannot ignore mental well-being at this stage, because if you ignore it, because it's intangible, it's invisible, it's going to have an impact on your physical health after some point of time. So that is why it is quite important, more than, and rather very important more than ever now, to look after your mental well-being, because you're dealing with so many instances that you've never dealt before.
Well, absolutely, Diya. And I mean, you're doing all this work. So let's talk about you a little. How did this journey for you start in India and then in the UK? And when did you actually decide that this was your calling? This is something that you'd like to do?
Right. So to answer to this, I have to actually narrate a story from my school days. So I used to volunteer for an old age home as a child, and then one thing I realized very quickly during that experience is that there were a lot of checks for physical parameters, but there's nothing done for improving the subjective well-being of those people in that old age home. And when I used to go there and talk with them and just chat with them, that used to have a magnificent, I would say, impact on their well-being. And I understood this is quite therapeutic. Just talking to them, giving that space to vent, made so much of a difference to them. So then I used to always think, there's so many checks being done for their physical parameters, but there's nothing being done to check, mentally how they are feeling. So I think that is the time first I realized I want to do something for improving, people's subjective well-being or improving their emotional states. And then, of course, I met a lot of good mentors on my way from India, and then I moved to Sri Lanka and Maldives, dealt quite critical cases. And every time I work with a client and I see that confidence when they, are ready to tackle their own mental health challenges, that is priceless, because that cannot be equated with anything. When you give that confidence, when you see that solace, when you see that confidence in their eyes telling you that yes, now I'm ready to battle or go through this journey of mental health. So that is why I'm quite confident that this is a beautiful profession and you need more professionals in this field to tackle this issue.
Well, you've of course had a fascinating journey there. So what next for you? What next for Psychonnect? What are the priorities now? Where do you guys see yourselves in the next 5 years?
Right. So, as far as the immediate priorities are concerned, we are constantly developing internationally recognized courses, building our portfolios. We are partnering with globally recognized experts from UK, Australia, Europe, etc. And what we want to do, Gauri, it's very important to mention here that we want to create a platform where our students sitting in India will have access to international courses, because we truly believe in the motto of Make in India. Nobody needs to travel abroad, spend a lot of money to do courses or learn about mental health. So our long-term vision, Gauri, is to make mental health at par with physical health. Now, for that, if we need to build more courses, if we need to, of course, partner with more global experts, create one of its own university, we'll do all those hard work. And mental health has never got its due respect, even being a fundamental cornerstone of human life and social construct. So we all, in our own way as professionals, should try to give its due respect. So that is why it's very important to mention here, we would need support of our community, yourselves in media, the bureaucracy, and indeed other, institutional establishments to help us fulfill this dream. Because we truly believe, Gauri, that India can be, or rather, India must be the mental health and well-being hub as it is for medical tourism today.
All right, yeah, that's a very, very interesting journey that you have there, and we wish you all the best, and we wish Psychonnect all the very best for all their future endeavors. And thank you for having this conversation with us. Thank you for speaking to us. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you, Gauri. Thank you for letting me speak and raising a little awareness on mental health today. Thank you.